guys, this is Kylie with Strive here. I hope you're all having an amazing day thus far. I'm excited to bring to you a Vinyasa yoga flow routine to combat tight hips. So if you guys are anything like me, you definitely have some tightness in your hips. Mine is both in the front and on the sides. So as we are standing, I'm not sure where I am at in the camera, but you can see that these muscles right here, they're nice and lengthened out, they're straightened. As we sit down, we bend our legs and the muscle gets shortened. So it gets so used to being in the shortened position that it's tight when you try to lengthen it out. All right, so today's routine, today's yoga flow is going to lengthen out those muscles as well as the ones on the sides, and it may be a little bit painful. Try to relax into it and really just surrender to it. But if you feel like a sharp stabbing pain, back off, okay? Listen to your body. I don't want you to get hurt. All right, so that being said, let's go loosen up our hips. Loose limber hips by the end, guys. Best of luck. We're going to begin in child's pose. So get down on your mat, big toes together, knees nice and wide. Walk out those hands, nice long arms, and relax the forehead down onto the mat. Just settle in here. Use this time to kind of scan your body and see if you feel any tight spots. I'm feeling some tightness in my hips, imagine that. So as I inhale, I'm going to send my inhales to that tight spot or the tight spots in my hips, and then I'm going to exhale out the tightness. Feel free to do the same. Slowly make your way to downward dog. So come up on your hands, curl the toes under, press those feet into the mat, and get situated here. You can walk it out, stretching out those calves. You can twist, feeling a nice stretch in the side of the hips. I like to do both, or whatever feels good to you. All right, as you get into your preferred state of downward dog, go ahead and take 3 deep breaths here. Look at your hands and step forwards. Ragdoll, so slight bend in the knees if you like. You can leave the hands down on the ground. You can be reaching for the ground, or you can cross the arms. Try to release the tension in the hamstrings. From here, place your hands on the ground and walk the feet out. Nice and wide here. We're going to get into a squat. So that might be a little bit too wide. You can play with your distance here so that you're able to balance. And bring your hands to heart center, pressing those elbows into the knees to open up the hips here. If you're not able to balance, feel free to place your hands down or place a block underneath your butt. Okay, or a book or a pillow, whatever you have that, that you can sit on basically. So let's take 5 breaths here. Place both hands down on the ground and slowly bring the butt up. Step back into a plank, chaturanga into upward dog. Try to really pull the chest through the shoulders here. Exhale as you push back to downward dog. Look at the hands, step forwards, ragdoll. Get into your squatting position and take another squat. Again, hands to heart center, press those elbows into the knees and try to open up the chest. So if you're hunching forward, do your best to open up the chest as much as you can here. Place your hands down on the mat, lift the glutes up, and step back into plank. Chaturanga into upward dog. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, get it nice and high. This is great for that right hip flexor. We're lengthening it out. And slowly bring the leg through, placing your right foot by your hands. Flatten that back foot down, and we are going to come up into warrior one. So make sure that you are in a nice stable stance here. Lift up the toes on the front foot, knees bent. Excuse you. Sorry guys. All right. And try to face your hips forward as best you can, pressing the outer edge of the back foot into the mat. Bring those arms up and hold here. 5 breaths. As you're holding the pose, also try to tuck your tailbone under. So instead of like leaning forwards here, sit up nice and tall and then tuck the glutes under, and that will really get into that left hip flexor. Open up into warrior two. So make a T with the arms, reach, reach, reach. From fingertip to fingertip, lengthening out the back. And hips are now open to the sides now. Again, I don't know about you, but I feel it right in this left hip flexors here. Feels great. 5 breaths again. I would like you to straighten the front leg, take your right palm, flip it up. It's like a reverse warrior, but we're gonna have a straight leg here so that we can lengthen out this front hip flexor. Okay, so rest the left hand either above or below the knee as not to put any pressure on the knee here. 5 breaths. Perfect. Go ahead and bring both hands down to the mat. Step back into plank. Chaturanga into upward facing dog. Exhale. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Get it nice and high. Again, lengthening out the hip flexor. Slowly step the left foot through, up by the hands, and come up into warrior one. Remember to tuck the tailbone under to activate those right hip flexors. Hold here. Open up into warrior two. So make a T with the arms, again, reaching from side to side. Hips are open to the side here. 5 breaths. Straighten the front leg, flip the left palm up, and reverse warrior with a nice straight front leg here. Bring both hands down to the mat. I'd like you to actually step forwards this time. So you can kind of hop it forwards if you want. That's what I'm going to do here. And relax and ragdoll. Get into your squat. 5 breaths here. Place both hands down on the mat, lift the glutes up, and step back into plank. Chaturanga into upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Stretch it up nice and high. And exhale, slowly bringing the right foot through. You can relax the back knee down for a low lunge. And in the low lunge, you can leave your hands down on the mat. You can come up, placing the hands onto your thigh, or you can bring the arms up. But use whichever one of those methods that gets you the biggest stretch in your hip flexors on this left side. Okay, so I feel a nice deep stretch when I lean forwards a bit more and have my hands on my thigh. So I'm going to stay here for 5 breaths. All right, we're going to transition into crescent lunge. So place your hands on the ground, come up on the toes at the back foot, and bring the hands up here. Arms are up. And again, to activate the hip flexors, just like we did in warrior one, tuck that tailbone and a nice straight torso rather than leaning forwards. Hold here. Exhale, bringing both hands down onto the mat. Step back into plank. Chaturanga into upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Again, reach up nice and high. Exhale, slowly bringing the left foot through. And you can come into your low lunge once again. And find a spot that works best for you. Activate the stretch in those hip flexors and breathe deeply here. Send your inhales to that tight hip. And exhale out the tightness here. Place both hands down on the ground and we're gonna come up into crescent pose. So bring the arms up here. Again, don't forget to tuck your tailbone. Hold here, 5 breaths. Exhale, bring both hands down to the mat and step or kind of hop the foot forwards again. And hang in ragdoll. Let's move into our squat. So widen your stance here. Bring those hands to heart center. Nice open chest. And hold here, 5 breaths. Place both hands down on the mat, lifting the glutes up. Step back into plank. Chaturanga into upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Again, reach here. Exhale, slowly bring the right foot through and relax the back knee down on the mat. We're going to get into a modified lizard, so it's kind of like a low lunge, but you're going to bring your forearms down to the mat here. Okay, and if that is too much for you, feel free to use a block, a blanket, a pillow to bring up the height a little bit, the base height, or you can simply be up here on your hands. Okay, but the important part is activating the stretch in the hip flexors, so just keep that in mind. We're going to hold the pose for 5 breaths. Perfect. Come up onto your hands. You're going to shift to the side, so placing this left hip kind of down towards the mat, and you're going to place your right hand on the right thigh and kind of twist, pushing that right hip open. You'll feel a nice stretch on the outside of the right hip here. Two more breaths. This one's feeling great. Awesome job, guys. Okay, so this is modified lizard. Regular lizard pose is simply the same aside from coming up on the toes of the back foot and lifting that knee up. So you're really going to activate the leg, and if you can, once again, you're going to bring your forearms down to the mat. And if you're not able to, no harm in staying right here. Okay, 5 breaths. Come up onto your hands. Place both hands down on the mat. You can step the right foot back. So you're in plank, chaturanga into upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up, super high. Exhale, slowly bring the right foot through. And take it back, guys, because that was the wrong side. So relax the right foot down. Inhale the left leg up. I want you to take it through, but then we're going to take it back to even things out. So take it back up and down, and then this is the real deal here. Left leg up. Reach it up nice and tall. Exhale, bring the foot through and lower the right leg down to get into our modified lizard. So bring those forearms down on the mat and hold here. 5 breaths. Come up onto your hands and shift towards the right side, so that right hip down towards the ground. Your right hand is on the mat. Place that left hand on the left thigh and kind of press into it again to get a nice stretch on the outer hip. We're going to hold for 7 breaths here as we did on the other side. Perfect. So now we have a regular lizard. So come up on the toes of the back foot, activate the leg, and bring the forearms down. 5 breaths here. Great job, guys. Come up onto the hands. Drag, hop, step the back foot forwards to get into ragdoll. Place the hands down on the mat and widen your stance to get into your squat. Still working on opening up the hips from the inside here. 5 breaths. All right, guys, place both hands down on the mat, lift the glutes up. Go ahead and step back into a plank. Chaturanga into upward facing dog. Hold the chest through and exhale back, downward facing dog. Look at your hands and step or jump forwards. From here, I would like you to have a seat on your mat. We are going to do bound angle pose. So, knees are bent, kind of like butterfly, if you're familiar with that term. Bottoms of your feet together here. I want you to start with your feet about a foot away from your body. Grab onto those ankles. Inhale up, nice and tall. And as you exhale, lean forwards, trying to keep your back fairly straight. Pressing your elbows down into the knees. Okay, so getting those knees closer to the floor. 5 breaths. Great. Now bring the legs in, the feet in, so about 6 inches away from your body. Inhale up and exhale down. Same thing here. Awesome job. From here, we are going to lie down on our backs. for thread the needle. So this is great as an alternative to pigeon. I like doing it before pigeon because it really helps release some of the tension from my hips and it makes pigeon easier and allows me to get a deeper stretch. So on your back, knees are bent. Bring the outer right ankle onto the left knee. Grab either your hamstring or your shin and pull the legs in towards your chest. Okay, 5 breaths here. As you're holding this pose, try to relax the outer right hip to get a great deep stretch. All right, let's go ahead and switch to the other side. So outer left ankle on the right knee. Grab again either the hamstring or your shin and pull the legs in towards you. Awesome job. Slowly sit up. You can rock up, push up on the hands, however you'd like. And now we are going to get back into downward dog. So get there however you'd like. Okay, and again, stretch out and down dog, doing whatever feels good to you. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, bring the foot through and walk the right foot over towards your left hand. We are getting into pigeon. So from here, the goal is to have your shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. That is extremely intense. I'm not able to do that comfortably, so I don't generally, while I'm leaning forwards anyways. So if you can do that, that's great. If you're not able to do that, feel free to bend the knee a little bit more and bring the leg in closer to your body. Okay, whatever works best for you. So I'm going to try to be parallel while I'm sitting up. And we're going to hold for 5 breaths here. Okay, now if you're comfortable, you can start slowly walking the hands out and folding down towards the ground. If you can only fold a little bit, stop there. Totally fine, okay? And then if you want to fold all the way down, that's great as well. 5 breaths here. And if some of you guys are trying to do this and you're having trouble with your knees, feel free to just do thread the needle again, just like we did on our backs, okay? I don't want you to hurt your knees at all. And from here, place the hands on the mat, so you're sitting up again, and we're going to get back into downward dog. Again, stretch things out here. And float the left leg up. Exhale, slowly bring the foot through. Walk it over towards the right side of your mat this time. And place your leg where you are going to do pigeon in, or where you'd like it in pigeon. Sit up nice and tall and breathe here. 5 breaths. As we did on the other side, slowly start walking the arms, the hands forwards, and assume your position, holding for 5 breaths. Okay, slowly come up, and you can just have a seat. We're actually going to do double pigeon. So let's go ahead and put the right leg on the bottom first. You know what? I'm going to turn and face you guys. And I am again trying to line up my shin parallel with this side edge of the mat this time. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the left leg and try to line up my heel with my knee, and then my top knee with my bottom heel. So heel to knee on both sides. Okay, and if this is extremely intense for you and you have a block, you can feel free to place it under this left knee or whichever knee you have on top. Again, a pillow will work, whatever works best for you. Try to keep both feet flexed and hold here, 5 breaths. If you're not feeling much of a stretch, feel free to walk out the hands and continue to breathe deeply. Okay, slowly switch to the other side. So our left leg is going to be on the bottom this time. Again, line it up parallel to the edge of your mat. Bring the right leg on top. Heel to knee, flex the feet. 5 breaths here. And one side may be tighter than the other, and that's totally okay. You can probably tell that my right hip seems to be tighter than my left hip because I can't go down quite as far, and that's okay. Great job, guys. All right. From here, I would like you to lie down on your back. And we're going to do happy baby. So knees are bent, bring your hands to the outsides of your feet. Just because they're on the outsides of your feet doesn't mean they're on the outsides of your legs. So on the inside of the knee, elbows on the inside of the knees, and then hands on the outside of the feet. And then you're going to use the weight of your hands to just open up the hips. Bring those legs down towards the mat. 5 breaths. Perfect. Relax the legs down. Do any last movements you'd like to do before Shavasana. So sometimes I like to do a lying spinal twist on each side. Some people like to do a wheel, a bridge, whatever you feel like your body is craving or needs. And then after you do such things, get into Shavasana. So really widen the distance. So widen your legs. Make their, geez guys, I'm sorry I can't talk. Make the distance between your feet fairly large. So even both feet might be off the mat. And see how mine are just kind of relaxing out. I find that that's the most relaxing position. So do and find out what works best for you. And then the same with the arms. And you would like your palms to be facing up. Try to relax the shoulders, let go of any tension. And just focus on your breathing as you inhale. Try to picture it coming in through the body, sending it anywhere you'd like, and then exhale out anything that we don't need. Okay, and try to do that. Other thoughts may come. Try to just let them go and stay focused on your breath the entire time. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Starting to awaken the body again. You can also shift your head from side to side a little bit. Roll over to one side and breathe a little bit more here. Place one hand on the mat and use it to push yourself up to a seated position. And that is it, guys. I don't know about y'all, but my hips feel so much better, so much looser, not painful, and I'm like pressing in them now. That was much needed. I hope it was what you were looking for. Thanks for practicing with me. Thanks for putting up with this crazy guy. He is the reason that you heard all of the crazy noises in the background, and then he's being crazy, trying to bring me his toy. So sorry for any disruptions, cat-related disruptions. I don't think there were any other ones. So again, thank you so much, guys. Your feedback and comments are always appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, guys.